here?
I am telling people the truth.
You are telling people the truth?
Yes.
Wow. It's very brave.
This is where your sausage, eggs, and milk comes from. And your wool and your leather. This is not livestock. Every single one of these live animals has its own mind, body, and soul. This is not just food, this is living beings. If we eat another living being and we think it's tasty, we never thought if another being ate us and they thought we were tasty. When a gorilla kills a human, it's such a big deal. When a human kills a gorilla, it's not really a big deal at all. That's the logic of today's people.
Do you think if you show this to the people, they can start to think?
Yes. If you do it, just tell them, they will not listen. If you shove this in their face, they will listen. You can't deny this. You can only forget it for a few seconds. If you're lucky for a few weeks, but you will still know that this is happening. You can ignore it, but this is still the truth.
Что там? Goodbye, my darling.
Там корова говорит своему теленку goodbye, потому что у него связаны ноги, и он кровотечение.
And you yourself, you're vegan, yeah?
Yes.
And how it happened you became vegan?
I went to watch this, and after that I became vegan.
You came to see exactly those screens.
Yes. I came to see Dominion. This is footage. This is footage of the truth. Dominion is footage. Might not be exactly this, but it is still the same topic. Still the same thing.
You mean this Dominion, which is film about Australian agriculture of animals?
Yes. It's not only Australia.
And now there are chickens. So many people, they think that why not eggs? So what it is going there with those chickens?
Male chickens are being killed because they practically don't bring any money to the farmers. So-called.
And they kill them alive.
Yes, they throw them in a meat crusher.
Oh my God.
And from a very young age, kids are told, Old MacDonald had a farm and he had a cow and he killed the cow.
Oh my God. You're vegan.
This is the third year.
This is the third year. And how old are you?
11.
And many people, they can say that you need to eat meat. You need to have this.
Do I look like I'm in bad form? No. I don't look like I'm in bad form. Maybe I've lost a couple kilograms, but that's good for me.
Do you feel sick because you don't eat meat?
No. Sometimes I have a big problem with seafood, but
What do you mean big problem with seafood? You want to eat
Yes, I
seafood?
want it, but I resist it.
Wow. You're so strong.
Yeah.
And what is the problem with the seafood?
Seafood, if you just caught it on a fishing rod that kills with a knife, it's okay. If you bring a trawler with a giant net that kills around a couple million animals every day, which are not even eatable, then that is a crime. That is a mass oceanic terrorist attack.
Yeah, I'm definitely agreed with it.
People who work on trawlers are serial killers. And people who work on farms are serial killers.
And people who buy all those animal products,
Are Nazis.
they are just supporting
Yeah, they're just supporting.
mass murdering.
Yeah. And humans have developed that the world murdering is developed only for humans, not for other living creatures. And that is the defense of very nowadays civilized people who still eat meat.
We're going to follow the drums and the police escort, and we're going to make our way around Sydney to show them that slaughterhouses need to be shut down. Thank you.
It is such a horrible footage. And this is what it is happening constantly.
Yes. Constantly.
This is what we don't want to recognize as a crime.
Every day, something like a couple million living, breathing creatures are killed.
Do you think someone benefits from all this?
Yes.
Who?
Yes. Farmers, government support farmers, farmer families who think it's alright to kill living, breathing creatures and not alright to kill humans. It's a very big economy nowadays. That's why this is the second reason people are afraid to stop eating meat.
In 2018, the Aussie Farms map provided coordinates of animal processing establishments, and this was met with absolute outrage. Why? Any other business or industry would be delighted at such free publicity. Of course, we know why. They do not want the public to see what happens in a slaughterhouse. Huge attempts have been made to close this down, prosecute Aussie Farms, and keep the truth from the public. The Farmers Federation gave a very moving speech about the fear of families, mums and dads' farms who no longer feel safe from these activists. They have their homes raided, they said, their children frightened. But as the Animal Justice MP Andy Meddick said recently, no activist has ever gone into the home of a farmer. No activist has ever attacked anyone. And no activist has ever interfered with their children. Unless, of course, those children are playing on the kill floor. Now, do not be disheartened. Our message is being heard. Even the Prime Minister, in the run-up to the election, promised to make it his first job to increase penalties for these green-collared criminals for up to 1 year, for up to 2 years in prison. He promised to pay $5 for each child visiting a farm, showing how well those animals are treated. We have footage here today showing that that is a lie. The new Agricultural Minister vows to protect the farmers in Western Australia and impose penalties of over $400,000 for animal activists trespassing on the land. Government and industry are running scared because we are sharing the truth.
It's a very big economy nowadays. That's why this is the second reason why people are afraid to stop eating meat.
But this economy is killing the planet. What
Yes.
about the environment?
Yes. Yeah. Greenhouse gases produces millennials, they're starting to realize it a little bit and then they stop. They say, eat a little bit less meat and drive as little as possible. Right? That's bullshit.
Yes, actually we need to stop to eat meat, and we need just to stop the animals' agriculture.
We need to stop drinking milk. Milk from living creatures are for the babies. They're for little cows, little hares.
No, for some reason we don't drink milk of the dog.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere in the world they do, I don't know. But we still think that animals' milk is for us.
Yeah. I still think animals' milk is for us.
Now it's this poor fish.
What is the difference between a dog and a pig? It might be personality, might be the ability, but it's still a living, breathing creature. And for a lot of people from Europe and actually it's around the world, they say you can't say disgusting and food. This is not food, sorry. This is not food. This is mass murder of living, breathing creatures.
Yes, I'm definitely agreed with you. Mass murder of living creatures, of our neighbors on this planet. And at the moment with this coronavirus, I feel planet just wants to
Get rid of humans.
just giving us the signal that we have to stop killing it.
I wonder how many people will actually receive that stigma though. It's a very big problem.
Not many.
Yeah, not many. Quite little actually. And those who will receive it, most of them will do nothing. For example, Trump knows what is going on, he doesn't care. Putin knows what's going on, he doesn't care, he doesn't really care about anything. He's gonna live for another 100 years like that. Scott Morrison doesn't care about anything.
Scott Morrison does care agriculture to continue and to develop, because he is getting richer and richer and richer from this. Very easy.
And his butt is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Also, his pockets are getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
We will not be silenced while sentient beings are being slaughtered. We will not be silenced when the public are ignorant about their consumer choices funding these gulags. We will not be silenced while governments and industries collude to keep these dark age practices alive. And we will not be silent until all animals are liberated.
We will be doing this march silently. We've worked out that when we scream and shout, people do not hear us, as they do not hear animals. But if we march silently, if we have the drums beating, hopefully they will feel us. And what we need them to do is to feel us. We need them to use their hearts. We need them to use their minds and to put it together and recognize that animals are sentient, that they do not belong in slaughterhouses, having their throats slit for someone's taste, convenience, or habit. It is unjust, and we will march today to show that.
This poor pig. Just a poor pig. Do you know that pig actually has very high intelligence?
Yes.
Pig can easily understand humans' talks, and pig actually can be a friend, and pig can be your pet, and
And you use the biggest food. What if somebody comes to you, takes a knife, kills your husband or wife, cooks them, and then eats them? You'll call
It will-
cannibalism.
it was before in the civilization that people they ate each other. Thanks God they don't do it anymore.
Yeah, now they decided, no, we're gonna eat them instead. We're not just gonna eat both of us, we're gonna eat them all. And before there were hunters, and in the early medieval stages when there was still actually hunters, not agricultural animal farmers, it was pretty good actually. If you have your own shotgun, you go in the forest, kill a deer, it's okay because you worked for it and you take as much as you will eat. But this, most of
That is actually in case if you really need it for
Yes.
food.
yes,
And
or for hot. In the ice ages, it was also it's very acceptable because they had to kill a mammoth to build huts for mammoths.
yes, and then they ate this mammoth with a big group of people until they
no mammoth.
finished. They had no mammoth. Yes, and then they just went and killed another mammoth. But what it is happening here? We destroyed actually 85% of wildlife to produce another life which is suffering during all the life and which we eat finally. And by the way, you know that animals products, they are making people sick.
Yes.
They cause cancer, diabetes, many different horrible disease, and people they still continue. Are people idiots? Sometimes I think they're bloody idiots. Hopefully they can watch those screens. Hopefully they can listen.
And this culture of eating animals begins at a very early age, kindergarten, I would say. At schools there is almost no vegan food. You can get a cheese sandwich, you can get a burger, you can get a ham sandwich, you can get a lasagna, you can get a fruit, and that is the whole, basically only vegan thing you can get there. Or you can get a piece of bread and avocado on it, and that's it.
So when you had been at school, are you at school now?
No, I'm not school.
You're homeschooling. And when you had been at school, did you have vegan options there whenever for barbecue or in your canteen? No. Just no vegan options.
In canteen, they sometimes have fruits and stuff like that. That's it. Like in my school, I was the only vegan.
Really?
Yes. I didn't meet another single person who was at least semi-vegetarian.
And do you know many other vegans?
Not really.
Just here in Aras, yeah?
But our enemy is not government collusion. Our enemy is not industrial greed. Our enemy is not the farmers. Our enemy is apathy. Apathy of people believing it won't change. Apathy that it can't change. Apathy that it doesn't need to change, that everything is okay as it is. It seems we're at a pivotal time in the animal social justice movement. We may be seen as rebellious, on the fringe of society and in opposition to society's values. But we must remember that no fundamental social change occurs because government acts. It's because civil society, the conscience of a country, us here today, rise up and demand change. And rising up we are.
Do you think all those animals, they can be pets?
99.99% of them, yes. And I think that this should be screened at schools.
Yes, definitely it should be screened at schools. I totally agree with you. What do you think will be the reaction of children at school if you will bring this at school and show it to them? What do you think they will think?
it's good. I think it would be 50-50. 50% of them would go vegan, 50% of them will just stick with their parents and they would go, no, that's not the one we love.
So you think that if we would show this to kids, kids will have more compassion to animals than parents, yeah? It is heartbreaking. It is just heartbreaking footage. We're in Sydney, this is Pitt Street. And this is where we are showing to the people what actually is going in the slaughterhouses. It is a pandemic time, so there are not many people, they come close. But still they can learn.
This is about raising human consciousness, about transforming human beings into more conscious and sensitive to all life. We must understand this. I'm cruel to the pigs, but I'm nice to the people is not going to work. Because once there is selective cruelty in your heart, one day you will call some human being a pig and do the same things to him. It's not far away. This is our problem, that we are moved by one cruelty, we are not moved by another. So if it happens to me, it is cruelty, if it happens to you, it's not cruelty, it's the same thing. So if it happens to this creature, it is not cruel. If it happens to what I like, then it's a problem. So that is all racism is, that is all religious bigotry is, that is what casteism is. That if it happens to me, it hurts, or if it happens to what belongs to me, hurts. If it happens to them, it doesn't hurt. So this is not going to go away by just changing laws. This is about evolving human beings to a higher level of consciousness, to a more inclusive existence as such, a more sensitive life. Without raising human consciousness, without making every human being far more sensitive to life, this is something every society in the world needs to think. If we want cruelty against human beings to go away, cruelty against animals also need to go away, only to the extent where it's absolutely necessary. Unfortunately, our lives depend upon them, so to some extent it's necessary, but right now I feel we are treating the animals wantonly. That also translates into treating other human beings like that. It's very easy to do that. When you're doing it to one creature, doing it to another one is not very far away.
But I think the greatest gift that it's given me, and many of us in this room, is the opportunity to use our voice for the voiceless. I've been thinking a lot about some of the distressing issues that we are facing collectively. And I think at times we feel, or we're made to feel, that we champion different causes. But for me, I see commonality. I think whether we're talking about gender inequality or racism or queer rights or indigenous rights or animal rights, we're talking about the fight against injustice. We're talking about the fight against the belief that one nation, one people, one race, one gender, or one species has the right to dominate, control, and use and exploit another with impunity. I think that we've become very disconnected from the natural world, and many of us, what we're guilty of is an egocentric worldview, the belief that we're the center of the universe. We go into the natural world and we plunder it for its resources. We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby, even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable. And then we take her milk that's intended for a calf and we put it in our coffee and our cereal. And I think we fear the idea of personal change because we think that we have to sacrifice something to give something up. But human beings at our best are so inventive and creative and ingenious. And I think that when we use love and compassion as our guiding principles, we can create, develop, and implement systems of change that are beneficial to all sentient beings and to the environment. Now,
I see trees of green and red roses too. I see them blooming for me and you, and I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark thick night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful